the next presenter, the next person that is going to give us a talk, and the person is Dele George. Dele George is the founder of the Little Saints Orphanage, an orphanage devoted to the care of abandoned babies, motherless children, orphans, widows, the poor, and unprivileged in the society. She has a background in accounting and a pioneering career in the banking industry. However, she gained and since she resigned, and since 1990, she has devoted her service to looking after the less privileged in the society. She initiated the foundation of the Association of Orphanages and Homes Operators in Nigeria, ASOHAN, in 2009, which is made up of orphanages in the 7 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. From 2009 to July 2020, she was the president of the association. She's now the current chairman of the board of trustees of the association. She has received many awards for humanitarian service and motherhood of goodwill. So on this note, I would like to invite Dele George for his own talk for just 10 minutes. And don't forget, you can also view our live streaming online. The channel will be made available to us on the chat page shortly. So if we have people who want to join via YouTube, so they can actually do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's such a privilege to be here. I'm grateful for the invitation. The session so far is very educative. Thank you to all the speakers. Like you've heard, my name is Christina Bamidele George in full. I'm a minister of the Gospel of Jesus Christ. So my organization is faith-based. And like one of the speakers said, you know, a lot of solutions are actually coming out of faith-based organizations at this time. So the Little Saints Orphanage, it's a charity organization with the sole purpose of rehabilitating, reforming, and reintegrating abandoned, abused children, physically or sexually abused children in shelters called Little Saints houses. So we bring them in from the streets, we rescue them, and we give them the best care that we can afford. And we've been doing this since 1994. So that's, we're actually just about to celebrate our 30th anniversary next year. And we've rehabilitated over 1,000 children, brought from all nook and crannies of Lagos State. Our main focus, or the children that we get, most of them are coming from Lagos State. What inspired me to start this kind of organization was simply for the love of humanity. I have empathy, serious empathy for children. In those days when I was doing my own business and preoccupied with a family, I used to see pictures of children that were abandoned in newspapers, and some of them lose their lives. And I began to feel some emotions, you know, towards these children. And I decided to act on those emotions. And thank God that God has been with me. And we were able to start the very first orphanage in Akowonjo area of Lagos State. In the first 2 years of operation, we had over 50 babies. I mean babies, beautiful babies that were abandoned in all kinds of situations. Some were found in toilets, some were found in gutters, some were found in uncompleted buildings. And these are normal babies. They had no deformity whatsoever. And it was then that I knew the seriousness of the situation in Lagos State. And the Little Saints Orphanage was actually the very first orphanage to be registered privately, a private orphanage to be registered by the Lagos State government. In those days in 1994, it was just the SOS Children's Village and the Red Cross orphanage, as well as the government motherless babies home that were in existence. So being the very first orphanage, we had a lot of work to do with vulnerable children. And they all came in. And by the time they got so many, I began to seek for other solutions because I could no longer cope with just looking after, with providing for these children. And the first solution that I was inspired with was adoption. I felt that children are not meant to be institutionalized. They are meant to be in families. And so I approached the social welfare in Lagos State, and in collaboration with the social welfare, that is the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, we started adoption. And I can say to you that those children that were brought into the orphanage at that time were eventually adopted. And to date, the orphanage alone by itself has adopted over 400 children to families in Lagos State, as well as families, you know, in other countries like the UK or in America. So Nigerians come from other countries to come and adopt babies in Lagos State. So it's been a wonderful success, adoption in Lagos State. When we first started, we were practically appealing to families to come and adopt. But I can say to you today that I have a waiting list of adopters on my table because Nigerians have imbibed adoption because they are now convinced that adoption is an enviable act of love and not lack of faith in God. And so far, the exercise has just been wonderful. It's one of the things that gives me pleasure. And right now, we have over, when the government approved Little Saints Orphanage, I think they were a bit skeptical whether we were going to do well because of the fear of baby factories and people trafficking in children. But I can say to you that Little Saints Orphanage has done very well over the years. And so because of that, Lagos State has approved over 70 orphanages so far. So we started with one in Lagos State and now we are 70. So that's good news because any child that is abandoned in Lagos State right now will find a home. Very unlike in the 90s, they will find a home because there are so many orphanages willing to give them the best care. And that's why we came together as an association to form the Association of Orphanages in Nigeria. And in Nigeria right now, we have over 3,000 orphanages. And when we started in 1994, there were very, very few. So I would say to you that the role of orphanages in the care and in the protection of vulnerable children cannot be overemphasized. Fine, they are not supposed to be institutionalized for too long, but the orphanages are doing wonderful work in caring for these children. Just yesterday, I was looking into social media and a woman had thrown her 3-month-old baby inside the river. And thank God there were good Samaritans who were around. A man jumped in and rescued that baby. And that baby has been taken to an orphanage. And that baby is alive and doing well today. That is the role of orphanages in Nigeria at the moment, in this year. So we are very, very happy about that. So our focus in orphanages are mostly on rehabilitation, making sure that the children are given good care. And the focus is on education, because these children have to be educated or else they will grow up not to be able to take care of themselves. So we are grateful for what orphanages have been able to do in Nigeria.
This is awesome. This is awesome, I must confess.
Sorry,
this is really, really awesome. Thank you for that wonderful talk. Little Saints Orphanage. Wow. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your work, your service to humanity. and pray that the orphanage will grow more.
Thank you.
Grow more. Thank you so much.